emailed Jeffrey Epstein this: "I think the world of you, and I feel hopeless and furious about what has happened. I can still barely understand it. It just could not happen in Britain." Peter Mandelson has no doubt felt hopeless and furious for a week now since Bloomberg News reported his intense sympathies for the sex trafficker and raper of children who was, according to Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years. Jeffrey Epstein said on tape, "I was Donald Trump's closest friend for 10 years. But Donald Trump gets to stand beside that same British Prime Minister today who fired Peter Mandelson last week, fired him for being a friend of Jeffrey Epstein. That is what the British ambassador to the United States was convicted of in the British Court of Politics by the Prime Minister last week, being a friend of Jeffrey Epstein. And that same smarmy, pathetic British Prime Minister relentlessly sucks up to Donald Trump because he fears Donald Trump's wielding his illegal and unconstitutional tariffs in a way that will harm British exporters. If British Prime Minister Keir Starmer were running ABC, he would have fired Jimmy Kimmel a long time ago. He has the soul of a corporate CEO, which is to say, none at all. And that is what allows him to shame Britain by standing beside Jeffrey Epstein's closest friend of 10 years today. And of course, Donald Trump lied when asked about the British ambassador who got fired for his friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump was asked brilliantly by Beth Rigby, do you have some sympathy with him that he lost his job over historic links to Jeffrey Epstein? Historic links that are weaker than Donald Trump's historic links to Jeffrey Epstein. And Donald Trump didn't say yes or no. Donald Trump didn't say that he doesn't have sympathy for him. So we can assume that maybe he does have sympathy for a guy losing his job because he was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. But Donald Trump also told the lie, quote, "I don't know him actually." Here's Donald Trump not knowing him.
Today, it just, in my view, as the Prime Minister has said, just shows what two countries who trust each other, who are confident in each other and are familiar with each other can do, not just for ourselves, but for the rest of the world who need to benefit from a bigger and better international trading system.
Thank you very much. It was beautifully stated. What a beautiful accent. I'd like to have that accent.
Thank you. My mother would be proud.
Thank you very much.
Donald Trump's Scotland-born immigrant mother would not be proud of his Queen's accent picked up in his neighborhood in New York. So there's the British ambassador in the Oval Office with Donald Trump, joking and laughing, and that wasn't the only time. That was 4 months ago. But to give Donald Trump the benefit of the doubt here in his 79-year-old weakening neurological state, his ability to remember how many times he's been hanging with the British ambassador in the Oval Office might be a little shaky at this point. But the British ambassador was most recently in the office on September 9th, 9 days ago. But Donald Trump's answer today was, "I don't know him, actually." Donald Trump's friendship with Jeffrey Epstein is now haunting him from more than one side of our politics today. It was Trump supporter Joe Rogan's turn. Joe Rogan's a